Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with I Follow the Leader. I am so excited, as you can see, because we have on Lori Flowers. Lori is such an amazing person and leader, and she was our very first leadership interview in September 2016. So hard to believe, have so enjoyed just watching Lori and her journey. She is someone who should be a mentor for us all. And so excited for you all to see her live because she has great energy. So without further ado, I am going to bring in the amazing Lori Flowers. Hey, Lori.
Hey, now that's an intro. I'm over here like, wow, thank you.
No, you deserve it. I saw even on the post, someone commented on how you're such a great mentor and person to watch. And so we really appreciate you coming on today and just giving us an update on how you are.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to talk to you and update you and everything. A lot has happened since we last talked.
Yes. So let us know. You are still at Radio 1, which in these days and ages often odd to be with the same company. So let us know what you're currently doing at Radio 1.
So last we spoke, I was the marketing director for Atlanta, the local radio stations there. And then May 19th came and an opportunity came within my company to work on the corporate side. So the difference is, marketing for local stations is different than corporate, because corporate, you're dealing with all the radio stations and the network radio, which is the Ricky Smileys and the Erica Campbells. So it was a big opportunity. So I was blessed to get the opportunity. But the thing was, I had to move to New York City.
Yes.
Now, I've moved a lot of places from Florida, DC, Phoenix, but New York has been the biggest move. So I took that opportunity. We packed up our stuff and I moved to New York to be the manager of integrated marketing and project management. And so again, in this role, I just oversee and help the marketers come up with marketing campaigns for corporate clients such as AARP, McDonald's, any big name client that does radio. It's our team that puts together these things. So it's been about 2 years now. And then the pandemic happened.
Yes. How did the pandemic affect your work and just your leadership style and everything that you did on a daily basis?
So I'm a year in New York, taking the subway. I'm doing New York things. I'm really feeling myself. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'm learning how to do my job. There was a lot of things I didn't know. And that's a mentee story. I'll tell my mentees one day to make sure you pay attention to everything as you go on your career. Anyway, the pandemic happened. May 13th, 2020 was our last day in the office. And as everyone knows, everybody pretty much went home. And so for me, it changed with my interactions with the team. Everybody was on Zoom and virtual and Teams, obviously. But for me, what I had to do was come up with creative ways to engage with my teammates, because you don't know what people are going through. So I felt that I had to be more engaging, more sympathetic. There may be days that somebody doesn't want to be on camera, so don't make them. I think we were gentle with people. And, I felt the same for other people. They were gentle with me, because some days you're in this apartment, because again, we're in New York.
Right.
There's not a lot of space. It's this room and that room.
Yes.
And so what changed is it just became you had to be very detailed in your communication, because you're not able to go see the person at their desk or their cubicle, whatever. And then just finding ways to, I know the one thing that I really felt, because I felt heavy about this. I think when people realize you're home, they put more demands on you, because they're like, where else are you going to go?
Yep.
So I wanted to put a feeling that for my the salespeople that I work with, I wanted them to realize I'm here. I'm right here. We're virtual, but trust and believe I'm right here. I can help you out. So I try to be available, maybe a little too available.
Right. Yeah, it's hard when you're an empathetic leader like you are.
I am.
Yes. And when you're an empathetic leader and we're going through the first pandemic and hopefully the only in our lifetime, unfortunately. But when you're an empathetic leader, kind of turning that off in crisis mode, I'm sure was very difficult for you and probably still is, right? Because people are still going through it.
Yeah. And you don't know what people are going through. You can't assume because some people are home with their children and you hear the kids in the background. You can understand. Or some people just are lonely and they want to have extra conversations after the meeting. So
yes. That's great. Well, obviously, in 2020 as well, really, there was a racial reckoning. And so would love to know for you, obviously, at I Follow the Leader, we do a lot with diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so what does diversity, equity, and inclusion in leadership really mean to you?
That's a great question. And you brought up a great point. I want to say that radio was on fire during that time because advertisers were like, let me do advertising on Black owned stations and Black stations. So that was our time to shine. But as far as what that means to me, it really means that I have an opportunity and I have a seat at the table where I didn't have a chair. It's a time to, it's an opportunity. That's really, it's a time to finally say, hey, I'm here and I matter.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that's been positive is different entrepreneurs, different Black-owned businesses and radio stations getting opportunities that they haven't before. So that's great to hear that Radio One has gotten additional opportunities. And again, opportunities, right, that should have always been there, but we're not.
Because I think oftentimes we would get overlooked. And that summer, it was just amazing. We were very busy because advertisers wanted to quickly get on. And I commend them. They wanted to get their messaging out about we care about everyone. We care about Black Lives Do Matter. And so for us, it was good because not only were we busy, we were bringing in revenue, which is obviously important. And it was finally Radio One was at the table with the other large. It's like, hi, we're here too. We can do our thing. So that was good.
That's awesome. You obviously have served on so many committees and boards and leadership groups. And so for someone maybe starting out, someone who's just getting into their career or is a new leader, what are two types of people you think everyone should have on their personal board of directors?
I love this question because this is one thing I tell everybody that you do need a personal board of directors. You need a team of people to help you. So there's a lot I could say with this, but the main two things that I feel, you need someone who's been in your industry for quite some time, who has a lot of knowledge, who can probably tell you some things that they did that didn't work or they did that did work. If I'm asked to be on someone's board and because I've been in the radio industry for a long time, I'm going to tell them everything that I did not do because there's a lot of things I wish I had done because it's like I can finally, tell them do that because it'll work. The other person I feel you should have is someone younger than you in the industry. And I feel that because their perspective is different than someone who's been in there. I work with a lot of younger individuals in radio. I absolutely love it because the way that they think, the ideas, they help me because sometimes I'm like, that ain't going to work. And they're like, oh, good. We can do this and that. And then they'll bring the digital side of what we can do and make a complete promotion. So I think you need someone seasoned and someone younger.
I love that, Lori. And I've asked a lot of people that question, and you're the first who has brought that new perspective of someone younger, which I think is so important. I know I'm a millennial and Gen Zs, right? I'm like, the things you all know and can do, some of them are so beyond me.
Right.
And so I love that comment. And that really is DEI, right? You can learn from the generation and generations under you. So I really love that perspective.
Like my project managers are all younger and they're millennials. I learned so much from them. I love them. They are just always their energy and the way that they think. It helps bring me out of my old way of thinking. Oh, we used to do that. Right. No, let's do something a little younger. I mean, up to
I
date.
love that. I love the innovation, which obviously has made you successful, that willingness to change. So
Yeah.
you are obviously successful and amazing. What would you say is your superpower? Just something that sets you apart?
I don't know if it totally sets me apart, but it's kind of what you said earlier about being an empath. I can sit
Yeah.
in a meeting. We can be, all the different squares, and I can see when someone's having a hard time or a hard day. And because of that, I won't put extra pressure on them because I know what it feels like. And I just feel for people when, or they may be trying to get the Zoom or the Teams to work and it's not working. And you can just tell. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I may say, it's okay.
Yes.
Let's log off and do it again because I know that pressure. And I just feel for people. And I can feel when they're not maybe up to par for the day, especially now that we are at home. It's just a little more. I don't know, something about being on the screen. It's just you can tell like somebody's kind of
right, or distracted, right? If they're well, that's awesome. I've known Lori, as you all know, over 5 years now, and maybe a little longer. And that's something that really Lori brings to the table is you see her smile now in person on Zoom. This is who Lori is. And I think that inviting nature of yours really helps people to open up. So thank you for that.
I've realized that. Thank you so much for that. And I think as I'm trying to figure myself out in life, I am the encourager and the cheerleader because so that's my superpower.
That's great. That's a great superpower, and one that helps others, which obviously a superpower. You want to be able to help others. So that's awesome.
I do.
Now, if you could have dinner with anyone, Lori, who would it be and why?
You know what? I'm saying probably someone that everybody says, but I absolutely love her, and that's Michelle Obama.
Yes.
She's just the realness of her background. Right. She's smart. She's beautiful. She's motivating.
Yeah.
I would say Michelle Obama. And next, I've really been looking at Robin Roberts because of just journalism. And I've always wanted, in my younger years, I wanted to be an anchor. And so as I look at Robin and I took one of her master classes, I absolutely love Robin. So can I have two? I say Michelle and Robin Roberts.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Yeah. And those are people you can watch, right, and learn from. I know Michelle Obama's book and her podcast. Yes. I was like, I feel like we can be friends.
Yeah, we're friends. I would love to have, please, I would love to have dinner with her. Yeah.
That's awesome. What is something on your bucket list that you have not done yet?
This was so bucket list. So as I think about a bucket list, I don't really have one.
Okay.
But now that I'm hearing this question, I'm going to create one. But there is one thing I do want to do, and I guess it is a bucket list. I want to get a tattoo right here that says faith. Is that
okay? Yeah. Yes.
Because I feel like I need to look. You know how you look down at your, and I just want to. And I've seen people do it before. I just feel like it may be a little tender, but that's my bucket list: a faith tattoo right here.
Awesome. So just a reminder anytime you're looking down. I like that. I like that. That's awesome. Well, I want to ask anyone, we have some people watching, feel free to put any questions you have in the chat, and I will let Lori know what you are bringing forward. But Lori, I want to ask you, and this is really, again, for just the leaders out there who want some advice, some of that cheerleading from you and inspiration. So advice for leaders, what is a book you think every leader should read?
I'm going to actually throw out an author, and I'm going to say John Maxwell.
Okay. Yeah.
All of his books have something you can pull out of. You can glean from, his leadership books and how to deal with people. Yeah. The main thing with leadership is dealing with people. And when I read a lot of his books, it's about how do you deal with other people? Because that's how leadership is. It's just learning to deal with people in a nutshell. Yeah. And then being an example for people to follow, because you want people that you are leading to look up and say, oh, wow, I see the vision. I'm going to, follow that lead. So
yes, that's great. Thank you. And what's a trait that you think every leader should have? Every great leader, right? Because some people lead, but what's a trait every great leader should have?
I'm going to go back to kind of what I feel like I display, and that's to encourage their team. When you are always, that's bad, 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 bad. That was horrible. You guys are the worst. You're not going to motivate anyone to do anything. But if you encourage them, then they can feel like, okay, I can do better. My current leader, my direct leader, he is very encouraging. So he'll say, I like the direction you're going with this. How about we do this? Yep. Instead of saying, that is horrible. Where'd you get that from?
Right.
He makes me want to be better. And so I appreciate that. So I would say every leader, if you can learn just to be encouraging to those around you, and play off of their strengths, because not everybody has the same strengths and weaknesses.
That's great. And what's a lesson that you've probably learned that you think every leader needs to learn, and that'll really help them to get ahead and move forward?
I think that as a leader, you can learn from everyone. Yep. If we actually remove our titles from these jobs we have and talk to people, you'd be amazed at how maybe the coordinator has so many great advice versus the vice president. So I think leaders should be open to talking to people around the company in different, positions, because you just never know. Don't look at a person's title and think that they don't know a lot of things.
Awesome. Thank you. And one of the questions we have for you is, Lori, how do you stay organized? So I know that's a big leadership question. So we'd love to know, how do you stay organized when you have this role and all of these team members to manage?
I love organization. So that's a great question.
That's great.
Organization, you don't understand. Like, I just get excited. I'm looking around like, yeah. So I'm old school with organizing, and I still have a planner.
Yep. Planner. Me too.
Yeah. And it's the passion planner. I've done the commit 30 planner. I've done every planner you could think of, but my passion planner, I literally plan out my day. I start on Sunday evenings and I write out everything for the week. And then I have lists. I love to have my list. But you have to write everything down. You do. Otherwise you won't understand. You'll miss things. Like, it could be reply back to Angela about lunch. Yep. You might forget to reply back to her, but staying organized is about writing things out. And at the end of the day, if there's not a check mark, it moves over to the next day. And so that's how I keep it organized.
Awesome. That's great. So we have time. I'm going to do about 2 more questions and then we'll have to end. But thank you everyone for putting in questions. And one, Lori, is, what is something you're looking forward to?
You know what? I'm looking forward to more growth in my position. I've realized when I took this opportunity, there was a lot of things that I still needed to learn. And I'm looking forward to pouring more things into myself so that I can be a greater asset to the company. And I say looking forward to it because I love to grow. And I think in my last position, I had tapped out. It's like, okay, what else can I do now? So I'm looking forward to more growth.
Awesome. And for those in your field, and I know we talked about this back in 2016, but for those in your field, what advice do you have for them if they're looking to get into the industry? What can they do to learn more about radio and marketing?
First thing I would say is to network with those people in the field. If you're in the field, again, network and just build a great rapport with everybody, from the vice president again to the coordinator, because I've seen coordinators who are now vice presidents, who maybe, you look back at and you're like, oh, it'll take them a while, but they move quickly. If you can get an internship, get an internship, because what happens is a lot of students are getting out of college and they want internships, and we're not able to help them because you've already graduated. And then the last thing is sign up for every trade publication that you can in radio, media, TV. Read them every day, learn your craft, know what's going on, and know your industry, so you can know what's on the forefront, what's happening, how is radio listenership doing right now. You should be able to know those things, and those are things that are free. You can literally read them. You don't have to go to school for that. So that's my advice.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lori, for coming on today to Conversations with I Follow the Leader. It was so great to have you, to catch up with you. Excited to continue to watch your career progression, and just your team members are lucky, and we are lucky to have you on here. So thank you so much, Lori, and we will stay connected.
We will always. Thank you for having me, and just keep doing all the great things you're doing.
Thank you, Lori. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming to Conversations with I Follow the Leader. If you have additional questions for Lori, feel free to comment and we will let her know. And we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. We will be interviewing Danya Perry, and he is the leader at Raleigh Chambers. So he is actually their DEI lead there. And so excited to talk to Danya. And again, thank you so much, Lori, for coming on today. And we look forward to seeing you all again soon.